Yes guys, welcome back to another video. Welcome to the George Benson Football Channel for your morning dose, breakfast dose of Chelsea FC news. It's been a few days since we've done a Chelsea news video, so I almost forgot my bloody intro there. Before we get into the meat and potatoes, we've got a busy one today, so you're going to want to make yourself a tea, coffee, beer, water, whatever your preference is. Bit of lemon squash, it's okay. Make sure you're subscribed to GBFC so you don't miss more videos like this one. And if we can hit 2,847 likes on today's video, then I will be a very happy man. We begin with some outgoings. And first things first, I'm not actually happy about this one because West Ham are looking pretty good. And Kurt Zouma moving to West Ham is going to strengthen them even further. They've scored 8 goals in their first 2 games, conceding 3, but Kurt Zouma looks to be on his way to East London. Kurt Zouma has been at Chelsea for a very long time, since he was 16 years old when we signed him from St Etienne, and it looks to me as though his time is now up. It's a difficult one with Zouma because statistically he's performed very well, but with Thomas Tuchel we're very aware now after a few months that he has specific traits that he wants from his players, and Zouma seems to lack those specific traits a little bit more than some of the other defenders do. So he's gone down in the Tuchel pecking order, and Chelsea have considered him one of the players that they could sell to raise funds this summer. The sale of Kurt Zouma will obviously have a knock-on impact or effect on potential players coming into Chelsea. We'll get onto that a little bit later in this video. The fee reported is 26 million with an additional 4 million. Chelsea pocket 30 million, and Kurt Zouma would be one of those players who gets sold for big money to therefore see Chelsea justify all of the business that they've conducted this summer. Fabrizio Romano said it himself on Twitch yesterday or on YouTube somewhere, saying that Chelsea are the best selling club in the world. And I could do an entire video breaking this one down, but just to touch upon it today, I absolutely believe that the business and the way Chelsea have conducted themselves after the transfer ban, during COVID, everything has been absolutely perfect. And with Thomas Tuchel building the squad he is now, the fact that we've actually made more money this summer than we've spent on bringing in a world-class striker who is basically the final piece to a potential title-winning jigsaw, or maybe it's close to the final piece. We'll find out later what I think about that. But I think it's credit to Chelsea. And as much as I might personally really like Kurt Zouma, like I always say here on GBFC, no one's bigger than the club. There's not a single player who, if they're sold, it affects my love of Chelsea, unless it's maybe one of the boys right now who, I don't know, let's say a bid comes in for Kai Havertz for 30 million and Chelsea accepts it for no reason. I might be a bit peed off, you know what I'm saying? But Zouma to West Ham, the fee is pretty much agreed. Personal terms being worked out. He could be a West Ham player for their game at the weekend. Story number 2, going to break it into 3 different parts. The first one is Davide Zappacosta is making his way to Atalanta to sign a 4-year deal, reportedly around the region of 11 million euros. This one, we've seen it coming for a long time. We knew when Chelsea signed Zappacosta, it was during that time where we weren't really in control of our business the way that we are in control of our business now. Zappacosta, despite scoring a wonder goal, whether he meant it or not, against Karabag in a 6-0 win at the Bridge in the Champions League, he's never really shown any real signs of being a top quality Chelsea standard fullback, or wingback in the case in which we're playing now. He goes to Atalanta, probably won't be first choice there either, but still, it's good for Chelsea to get another player off their books. The second player that I want to talk about is Ike Ugbo. He's been flirting with Genk for a while. Chelsea, they wanted the money that they wanted, if you know what I'm saying, for Ugbo. It hasn't happened until now, but it looks as though he's about to move to Belgium for a 3.5 million euro fee with a 2 million add-on if Genk manage to make it into the Champions League with Ike Ugbo in the squad. We wish him all the best, but we know that he wasn't going to quite make it at Chelsea with the current crop of strikers at the club. Finally, in terms of player sales, Bakayoko. I want to try and remain respectful here because I tend to go off the rails a bit when I talk about Bakayoko because the frustration just always seems to build inside of me. However, I've made it quite clear that I still think there's a good player in Bakayoko somewhere, and at the right club, in the right system, in the right league, I think he'll end up being a decent midfielder. AC Milan are going to be loaning him for the season. At the moment, the sticking point is what the fee will be with the option to buy that they have on this loan deal for AC Milan. He had a pretty decent time in Milan, so I think Bakayoko going there again with like an actual idea in his head that if it works out, he'll get a permanent move to another big club, I think this could be the move that finally sees the merry-go-round of loans and trying to get a sale for Bakayoko finished at Chelsea. Fabrizio Romano reported it is just the fee to be paid at the end of the loan deal that is the sticking point on this one. But we move away from players leaving the club and we talk about players coming in. There are 7 days remaining of the transfer window, including today, and business is going to be done from Chelsea. I believe that there's going to be at least one, maybe two more signings, but one that I don't think is going to happen, that has been reported across the last 48 hours, is the winger from Porto. He's got an 80 million release clause. His name is Luis Diaz. He's a decent player, but 80 million for a winger, it's reportedly Spurs and Chelsea that are interested in this, which I find a little bit bizarre, considering Callum Hudson-Odoi, Christian Pulisic, Hakim Ziyech, Timo Werner, Mason Mount, Kai Havertz, Romelu Lukaku. Have I missed anybody? Probably, but I'm sorry. This isn't necessary, in my opinion. I don't think that Diaz is the kind of winger. If it was Messi, I'd have been like, yeah, we could probably stick him in on the right, you know. He could cut in and give it to Lukaku and then whatever, you know. But it's not. So I think 80 million is the release clause that is being reported as the trigger point for securing this deal. I don't really think there's much in this one. I've not heard about any real concrete interest from Chelsea in this player throughout this window. So I think it's silly season coming into fruition again, and Chelsea's name, because we got cash, is being thrown in the reporter's hat. So I don't think this is going to happen. Don't worry about it. Or if you want him, please leave your reasons why in the comments down below. I would love to see if there is something that I have missed with my nonchalant approach to this story in today's video. Let me know about this player in the comments down below. We move into talking about Jules Koundé. It's been pretty known now for quite some time that Chelsea have personal terms agreed with Kunday until 2026. It's a big deal, big money deal that would see him become a Chelsea player. He's 22 years old. Sevilla have remained very firm that unless a club meets the release clause for Kunday this summer, they ain't gonna sign him. So now that Zouma is on his way to West Ham for a fee of around 30 million, this was the sticking point with Chelsea making progress with this deal. It's been widely reported that if Zouma leaves the club, Chelsea will 100% be going in whether Chalobah stays or not for another centre-half. Jules Koundé is the top target. They've got a week left in the window. Sevilla have said they won't sell him in the last couple of days. So therefore, I think at the time of me recording this video now, movements will be made quite quickly with this deal for Jules Koundé. It could even be a case of if the Zouma deal and personal terms are agreed for Zouma to sign for West Ham, if that happens within the next 48 hours, we could see Jules Koundé as a Chelsea player before the game against Liverpool at the weekend. We wouldn't expect to see him in the team because, well, the defence so far this season has been flawless and he wouldn't be rushed straight into the team. And I honestly think he'd be fighting for his place at this moment in time, even if we spend 80 million euros on him. So, Jules Koundé, we know that the sale of Zouma was the key, the sticking point in this. If Zouma's deal goes through, expect to see movements and updates regarding Jules Koundé across the space of the next couple of days. The final story that I want to talk about today has been facing its head now for about 72 hours. Saul Niguez from Atletico Madrid has reportedly been offered to English clubs on loan this season. I've seen mixed responses from a lot of people within the Chelsea community regarding the potential signing of Saul Niguez. At the moment, it looks as though if a deal is going to happen for this one, it would be a loan move from Atletico Madrid. The reason I don't actually think that this is a bad idea is because I don't think Chelsea will have left it so late to bring in a central midfielder this summer. I think Thomas Tuchel, if he really wanted that backup for Kovacic, Jorginho and Kante, I think we would have seen it pushed at the same level in which the Lukaku deal and the striker deal was pushed. So if Saul Niguez comes in on loan, Chelsea don't have to spend any money on him, then surely that leaves the perfect opportunity for Thomas Tuchel to assess this season whether Billy Gilmour is good enough whilst performing on his loan move at Norwich to come back into the team next season that most people are expecting him to do, or is it that we see Billy Gilmour, it doesn't quite tick all the boxes that Tuchel wants, and then Chelsea go all out for Declan Rice next summer, or even a Tchouaméni, who I think if we were going to sign Tchouaméni, we'd have made more movements than we already have. But we can't sit that one in the back of the seat or back of the car for now, because it still might happen. But I think that signing Saul Niguez on loan, he'd be fourth or fifth choice central midfielder behind Kovacic, Jorginho, Kante for sure, and then fighting with Ruben Loftus-Cheek for that next position. I think it's not a bad deal if it gives Chelsea that time to wait to approach Declan Rice next summer, where if West Ham don't get Champions League football, the price is going to be lower for Declan Rice than it is this season. They'll have to, because he'll push the move. Or we wait for Tchouaméni and then bring in Saul Niguez on loan, save the money, FFP, Chelsea laughing their way to the bank, as we always seem to do. I don't think this is as bad of a deal as some people have made it out to be. Yes, in terms of creating this squad that we want to have on a consistent basis, we don't necessarily want players coming in on loan. We'd like to have everybody signed with a Chelsea contract, knowing that we can work on something to build a dynasty for the next few years. That is ideal, but I think Chelsea have really got their eyes on Declan Rice, and I think they see him in the long term as the player to step in for a Kante or Jorginho. I really believe that about Chelsea Football Club. So biding the time, taking Saul on loan, I think it's okay. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. And of course, as I've said, it is the final week now of the transfer window. When there's updates on CFC, I'll be sure to let you know here on GBFC. So put on the notifications so you don't miss a video. Subscribe if you are new, and I'll catch you guys later. Come on, you Blues.